Habari ya jioni wenzangu na wale ambao wanatutazama, ni jioni njema, naweza sema hivyo. Tumekuja hapa ili tukuwe na mahojiano kidogo kwa mambo ambao yanajiri ama yale ambao yametendeka. Niko na marafiki zangu hapa na ndugu zangu pia wawili, ndawapatia nafasi ili wasalimie watazamaji wetu. Migoda, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu. Kwanza ningependa kushukuru kwa kunialika katika kipindi hichi, na pia vile vile ningependa kuwakaribisha wale wanatazama. Leo najua ni Jumatatu katika huku pali tuko, na ni masaa za majioni, na tunakaribisha kila mfuasi wetu ili atuzungumze mambo ambayo yanaunda taifa.
Asante sana Migoda kwa hayo, na tumai ama naamini kwamba maisha uko vizuri kwa afya, nasema hivyo.
Kwa afya niko vizuri na pia nashukuru Mungu niko sawa kabisa. Na pia naomba tu nizidi kuwa vile niko.
Asante sana. Wacha tena nichukue hii fursa pia kukaribisha ndugu yangu Mark Obura pia kuja kunena na sisi, atuambie maisha iko vipi, siku yake ilikuwa vipi, na maneno ambayo ako nayo kwa wale ambao wanatutazama. Na pia pale naona Gibson Kona pia yuko, natumai tena naamini kwamba uko salama. Tunakushukuru kujiunga na sisi pia.
Ni wakati wangu, basi mimi pia acha nichukue hii fursa. Kwanza ni wasalimu ndugu zangu ambao mmepata nafasi kujiunga nasi, hasa nyinyi ambao mko hapa kwa studio. Vile vile bila kusahau wenzetu ambao wako kwa comment section wakiongozwa na Gibson Kona. Nachukua hii fursa kuwasalimu na kuwakaribisha na kuwaambia ya kwamba tunawapenda na Mungu azidi kuwainua na kuwaongoza, tukisaidiana hapa na pale. Asanteni.
Asante sana ndugu yangu, na kwa maneno hayo matamu ambayo umenena. Thank you so much once again, Bigoda and Makubura, for taking your time to be with us so that we can have conversation this evening. We had a very eventful weekend had a very eventful event in terms of politics. And also, we also have so much that is going on. There's this issue that also is trending about Albert's father, about certain money that is missing from his account. I saw a gentleman who was at their home and he relayed those claims. We don't know how true is that. And there's also issue to do with the DPP, as we speak today, has approved the murder case of Ojwang, and that which include Talam, Mukhwana, and I think 3 other officers are having a case to answer, and also there's so many things that are happening, including the Shah chief. There's a court pronouncement that has come out of the court. And also the planned demo for Wednesday, which is gaining traction. I just saw another letter from another university. This multimedia university also are in the process. They've also given out their press. Yeah, we'll be joining the comrades on June 25th. So there's so much that is going on, but like we will discuss a few that we have, and also something that also we want to focus on as we look at the demonstration that is coming, the Kindiki factor, especially in Mount Kenya and regarding Gachaguain. How is it going to turn out? Because it is now very obvious that the numerical power of Mount Kenya is being fought, and everybody wants to get the claim of that vote. President, actually, he's been using the Kindiki as the deputy president to bring in the Mount Kenya. And, Rigathi Gachagua is also trying his level best to make sure that the presence of President William Ruto is nowhere near the Mount Kenya. And you saw what happened in Meru. So there's so much going on in terms of politics. Let me just to start with you, Miguda. What can you say brief about these claims that are coming out about the money that is missing in the accounts, mobile number of Ojwang's father?
I've also received reports that there are claims money has been swindled from the account, and the family members are the one who are claiming that they can't get the actual money which people contributed to Ojwang. But there are also some propaganda from the people that may be because the father received 2 million from William Ruto and 1 million from Raila Odinga. Now the people of goodwill, Kenyan's people, decided to reverse their money, and also maybe some people also decided to tamper with that account because because already has been supported by the regime which has actually presided over the killing of the son. And some people also saying that it might be spiritual or maybe karma, because Ojwang has refused that people have donated for you money, but you've decided to trash that contribution and receive from President Ruto, who actually Ojwang has been against, and Raila Odinga. So it's like you are betraying me the way I'm lifeless. So maybe that one can also work out. So in my conclusion, I believe that those three things might actually happen to the family, but we have confirmed because a close relative has briefed us that they cannot trace that money. And lastly, it can be also propaganda, so that the family or the father want people to sympathize and come in, or the government to come in and also contribute money. It can also be a propaganda because this is the only opportunity they have in life to make money or not. Because if he misses this opportunity, he cannot get that much. So we cannot outrule that it cannot be a propaganda. It can be a propaganda because we can no longer trust them. The moment they receive that much from Ruto and also trash our contribution and thank Mr. President, to date we don't believe them. So it can be also something that they have choreographed as a family, that let us now brief the people that that money, as we have lost that money which they contributed, we no longer have that money, so they don't need to talk about their money or their contribution. That can also be propaganda in this, because we understand we are dealing with it's a murder case, and people and it's a public interest case. So I believe that those things can play.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. But what about, because like there are also those who are talking about Eric Omondi being behind, that this is not the first time something of the sort is happening.
That one, I got you very well, but we understand Eric Omondi, team Sisi kwa Sisi, and also with other things. Eric Omondi has also come to some extent to assist many people, because this is not the first time Eric Omondi is coming to assist someone to collect money from the people. But we understand that why is that they are talking about this one for Ojwang, but we have had cases before. People have never complained. And also in that capacity, I believe it was something around 4.7 trillion, 4.7 million. You understand Eric Omondi at his capacity, 4.7 million. I don't think he can divert it to Sisi kwa Sisi account the way some people are trying to propagate it.
Okay, thank you so much. That is something that is in the public domain and people are talking about it. And remember also, I was also seeing people also were raising those claims that it also happened with the father of Karaoke, that he was missing some 200, 200, is it 200,000 Kenya shillings from his account unknowingly. So, okay, with the time I know we will know this. Makobura, what is your take on what is the conversation around the money missing from the Ojwang's father mobile number account?
Okay. Thank you so much. I want to give my opinion. Matters of money is not something easy. You've heard people speak about money. Money is the only thing that can make brothers separate. So when we are speaking about money, anything is possible. Of course, we have those who knew the account details, as well as we also have hackers. So if you ask me, unless the people who opened the account gave an authorization for one of them to access the account, that is the only way that money can get lost in the account, or unless the account is hacked. And that is something that is traceable. I think if they lodge that complaint, to the bank and whichever the relevant authority. It is something that can be uncovered, that can be, that can be known. It is not something too tough. We are in a digital era. We are in an era where technology is doing much. If someone did access the account, then it is either, it depends with how they did open the account. If they gave an authorization for one of, because I heard that the signatories were the two parents and the wife.
Yes.
So if there's money missing, either they gave an authorization for one of the signatories to access, or it is then either act. I mean, there's hacking which has happened. So either of that. But someone saying that the money was taken without their knowledge, I don't think it is anything that can be verified.
Yeah.
There are only two possibilities, the ones that I've given. But what I can say is, I don't think, to me, it is not a good way of life. It is not a good character. It is not something that should, I mean, we should be speaking about now. Because remember, this is money that was collected kidogo kidogo from almost a majority of Kenyans, and they gave it with an aim of assisting the grieving family. It would be so painful if either of them would then get into such kind of activities and withdraw the amount without the authorization or the knowledge of others. Uh, Ours is maybe to wait and see, but we also pray that they handle that matter with a lot of care, because this is not the first time actually that we are getting issues to do with money has been taken from the account. Just like I've given you two scenarios, those are the only two possible scenarios which can happen
Okay.
when money is lost in,
Okay.
especially in banking sector.
Okay. Okay. Before we talk about everything, because like we're just discussing about the wounds, especially of June 2025, and which the day to celebrate the heroes are coming on Wednesday. We've seen the ground is so much sad. Everybody is saying that they will be going to the street. There was some also who feel, including the leaders, that it is unnecessary. And this is what came from ODM. I just want to read this one according to the one of the dailies. They are raising complaint. The party has noticed with disappointment that the sensational headline by the today's Standard newspaper branding party leader, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, betrayer of the Gen Z. For some time now, the Standard Media Group has run a campaign to blackmail or the ownership and all that. And yeah, so I will not read position. There are places that I'm picking. Then he said that the Standard is pursuing a propaganda campaign disguised as a journalism. In the latest pursuit of this agenda, the Standard has trained its guns on the leadership of ODM in a bid to force the party to support the political position of the ownership of the media outlet. That is one. It is important to put to perspective that events surrounding last year Gen Z protest when young Kenyans took to the street agitating for their rights, but specifically demanding for the withdrawal of the finance bill, they achieved this and their position that they were neither aligned to any political parties. Because of the brutality noted out of by the police, many of these young people lost their lives. We so like there's the last paragraph. This is like where I want you to. We have stated times without number that ODM is not part of the Kenya Kwanza governance, whatever stability framework we entered into for the sustenance uh, of the government sustenance. So here again, the ODM is reminding us that they are not part of the government. Miguda, maybe your take on the letter that they wrote directed to Standard newspaper.
The letter I can believe the statement because the person who wrote it.
Mhm.
It was written by the Secretary General of ODM, Edwin Sifuna.
Mhm.
And I think by at the end of the letter, there is Edwin Sifuna and the signature.
Mhm.
Because Sifuna has been consistent, maybe that was his thoughts. He saw it wise for him to write and also to defend the party leader because the party leader image appear on the standard media, the
Mhm.
newspaper. But of course, Sifuna might be factual because he has been consistent. Even at the time they were signing MOU, he told us that is there as the capacity of the SG to carry out the constitutional mandates of the party.
Yeah.
But for him, he's not part and parcel. And also, he has been consistent because he also told us that the day Ojwang was murdered in a police station, that is the day when that MOU was buried. That's he has been consistent, so I can believe him. But also, we are not fools because we understand that the structure, the ODM top leadership are serving in the executive, the one who are donated as experts. They were previously the top leadership of the party.
Yeah.
So we are not that fools to understand that we can believe the letter, but the facts are also there, whereby we have seen the ODM working seamlessly with the Kenya Kwanza. And even you understand what the governor of Mabea has been telling us, that you must align yourself as the ODM party with the UDA party. So I think they are just divergent opinion, but the facts are well known.
Okay. Thank you so much. Makobura, you feel brief on it?
ODM, just like any other political party, they have a right to, you know, to come and criticize when they think they are not being, their rights are being violated. But what I can say is that, of course, there has been a lot of pressure from the citizens where, you know, the issue of Gen Zs, the issue of demonstration, especially this week. Remember, it started over the weekend in the wake of remembrance of what happened in last year, June 25th. People are trying to remember what happened and what really, they're trying to imagine what would have happened should the Gen Zs have, succeeded. And part of what they're saying is that the Gen Zs were going to do very serious things, and they might not have gotten to the point of doing all those things just because they did not get the support of Raila Amolo Odinga at a point when they needed, and that is what has been bringing a lot of conflict. And of course, as the Standard has always mentioned, uh, that reason that because the opposition did not join the Gen Zs in fighting for the rights, because Gen Zs came out and some of them were killed, but the opposition leaders did not come out to criticize, because the Gen Zs went out and do everything that has been normally done by the opposition. You know, that is what really happened. And the people are just trying to ask themselves, what if the opposition had joined, the youths? Will we still be having the problems that we are having? And something else that people are criticizing is the fact that the ODM party got into government through the MOU, and part of the agreements that they did have were touching on compensation and the injustices that the Gen Z, so the young people, went through during
Yeah.
the last, demonstration. But part of that has not been looked into, has not been addressed. It is now 1 year, and remember when ODM was getting into government, they were trying to justify and saying that yes, our young people were killed, but if we don't get to the government and fight for them and request for justice or look for justice within the government, they are
Mhm.
going to be forgotten. It is now 1 year. They've had the opportunity. They've been in government. They've not called out on the government. They've not mentioned, they've not mentioned all the bad things that the government has done. And it is part of the reason why the social media platform and the media platforms are also
Mhm.
taking the advantage to come out to criticize the moves by this same, the same party, that's the ODM party. Of late, of course, you've seen young people coming out, of course, criticizing the move by Raila Amolo Odinga, not participating, and due to the fact that he's been quiet of late,
Mhm.
something that is contrary to the expectation of the people. And they're just asking, where is he? Does it mean that all those times that he was getting to the field fighting for our rights, he was not really representing us? Those are
Yep.
the reasons, I mean, part of the conversations which are going on, that
Mhm.
I think the people are asking and they want to know.
Yeah, but, I tend to agree, and this is what I would bring in as my way of thinking. I might be wrong in how I think. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know, because like it is not very quite much easier to convince, especially the majority of Kenyan population, that you're not in government, yet you're top brass of the party, including some good think tank that used to be working with the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, are advisors of President William Ruto. And even if you go by what the other day oh, the Guru Odinga usually says, that we are in the government. They said they says of Gladys Wang. Even recently, you saw what happened when the executive was in the retreat somewhere. You saw Baba came and he walked in the red carpet and all that. Then one tells you somebody who has power. That power accessibility. So I think people know where the ODM especially is and where they are not. Whether you say you are in government or you're not, I think Kenyans are wise enough to know where the truth lies. So that's what I can say about that. Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. There's so much that we need to talk about, but like, let's switch our gears, especially to look at what happened during the weekend, especially when President visited the Meru, that is Mount Kenya East, where he had there was I don't know, a, a dairy conference where one of the nominated members of parliament stood before president and the people, and he was trying to say the words that were not untrue. In other words, he was lying, and the people heckling in front of president and the deputy president. And remember, this is somebody who should represent the views of the people, and when you stand even to tell the president actually what is going on, or the challenges that the farmers are facing, especially when it comes to prices and everything, or the products, especially in farming, especially when it concerns milk. But you did not get the opportunity you got. You did not say actually what is happening on the ground. Makobura, what is your take on a member of parliament, especially who is nominated, instead of being very truthful and tell the president what is happening so that they can come up with solution to solve that? She goes and lies before the president. What is your take on that, and what does it portray?
Okay, thank you. I like there's a bill. I don't know whether it will come. I don't know whether there's genuinity behind it or not. There's a bill that is being proposed by some senators,
Yeah.
whereby they're trying to say that if you are elected as a member of parliament, or
Mhm.
you are nominated and then you fail to work for the people of Kenya, they're trying to make it easy for the people to recall you, so
Mm.
that I don't know whether it will come to the limelight. I mean, it will come to the floor of the house. It is at a proposal. It's something that I did hear them starting to speak about, but I hope and I pray that it come to pass. I hope and pray that it come to the floor of the house,
Yeah.
because it's going to be a game changer in the sense that all those politicians who are getting into parliament, all those politicians who are being given nomination, and then once they get into those offices, they think that they are surrounded and fully, in a way,
Mm.
surrounded to an extent that they can do anything they want. They can go contrary to the constitution. They can even fail to respect the people who have given them the mandate and still just have a period of 5 years or so. I think that is something that we need to look into as a people, because democracy speaks to that extent. If you feel that your rights are not being respected, if you feel that the person that you gave the mandate to represent you is not doing it perfectly, then you should have the authority to recall that person and rethink about whether you want him or her to continue serving you or not. On the question that you've asked on uh, on why members of parliament, I mean, for example, I did see that clip of a nominated member of parliament getting in front of the president and trying to address the people and telling them that this government has done good, government has done positive things, but truly on the ground, it is contrary from what, I mean, the ground is saying something different.
Yeah.
But we cannot blame at this point, because they are at the mercy of their parties, they are the mercy of the political masters or the political leaders. Because we saw, just a good example, if I can give you, remember the case of Senator Oroba? She slightly, I can say she slightly spoke differently, or she slightly, engaged in things that politically were not favoring her, and you just saw what happened to her. She was shown the door, and of course that position would be given to someone that they think, in quotes, that will respect and align himself or herself with the party procedures. It is not something that we should emulate, but they have no option. Remember, if that particular member of parliament would get there, and then after that heckling, she then maybe starts saying that, Mr. President, it is very expensive. You need to do this. You need to do this. Possibly, there's a possibility that if the PA of the president would be around, she would be fired immediately.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Miguda, when you look at, and even though we know that you are a nominated member of parliament, you're working at the masses of a nominating authority, especially your political party. At the same time, you are nominated from a particular region, which means you have to air or bring in the issues, especially that area is facing, but you have those challenges with you, and the head of state is visiting. But instead of bringing those issues to the head of state so that they can be tackled, but you end up saying what is wrong. The petition that you bring before the president is not what is making your people to make losses, especially concerning the dairy products. What does that one speak about the nomination position, especially those who are nominated members of parliament and the leadership itself?
Nomination itself, it's from the party, and most of the time, even in the National Assembly or the Senate, you work for the party, because even if you're coming from a certain region, but also there is an elected leader from your region.
Yeah.
For instance, if you are coming from Suna East, but there's a Suna East lawmaker, and this is also center of Migori. There is also women rep for Migori. But the fact that you have been nominated, you are there to represent a political party just sponsored you to parliament. And you understand, even you do not have any CDF, you don't have many things to do. Most of the things you do, you can just oversight. You can represent, but not the people, the party. You represent the party, not the people, because nobody has elected you to go to parliament. Therefore, when you are hosting an head of state to you where you are coming from, of course you are also part and parcel of the people of the electorate in your region. You understand what affects you. But if you are given an opportunity to speak or petition the demands of the people, what you ought to have done, because it's just like anybody, because you are not elected, but just like anybody can be given an opportunity to address the head of state, you ought to have represent the factual of the ground, what the people, because you are part and parcel of those people. The fact that you are nominated does not exclude you to form part and parcel of the people. The fact that you are part and parcel of those people, you need to represent the factual things to the president and you need to petition the rightful thing. So if you find anybody because you are nominated, now you think that maybe you are unelected and you want to represent what we call, you want to misrepresent facts to the head of state. In my view, I think the nomination authority, to me, the nomination authority has no any effect to you, but the fact that you are a resident of that region, you have done injustice to the people. But the person who was supposed to represent the people, if there is no representative, even the people can represent themselves, but they form part of the people. But now you see, you are acting contrary to the mandate, what people ought to have done. So I don't blame that the much to the nominated authority, but I take all the burden to the person individually, the person who presided the petition to the president.
Okay, but now look at this is the head of state, and you're being heckled. Maybe you are trying to send that narrative that maybe you wanted to please the president, but now you find like the people are heckling you while maybe pleasing the president. How does it feel for you as a leader, or how do you take it as a leader?
That's why I was taking the burden to the speaker, because if you have been given opportunity to speak, just like anybody can be given opportunity to speak in the presence of Mr. President,
Yeah.
you ought to have speak the factual things that actually might make people not to echo you in the presence of the president. So the fact that you have been echoed by the people, it means now you have turned back to the popular of the people, and you have joined praise and worship, whereby you want to please the master. That's why I say there's no effect to the nominated authority, but
Yeah.
the burden is to the person who want to please the master. It doesn't cost you anything. The fact that there was a nominated authority or there is a president,
Yeah.
you must always be a principal person who must stand by the people, by the rightful thing. That's why I think we shift the burden to the person, but not nominated authority, because you don't need to make it look like even at the expense of the people where you're coming from. You must just be a praise and worship to at the expense of your people, your community, because I think even most of the places where we're coming from, we are coming from clans, and our clans are related. So it means even the members of your clan, you have turned adapted to them because you want to please an individual.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Miguda, for that. And now let's now again shift the gears, because as I told you earlier, the Mount Kenya numerical power is at stake. And Kindiki has been one of the point man or the money bag, especially that the president has used, or the state has used to woo the Mount Kenya. Quite a number of activities that Kindiki has carried during his tenure as the deputy president. But it seems that all the strategies that the president has employed in Mount Kenya, especially, it seems not to be working. The influence of Rigathi Gachagua is still so much high as compared to the strategy that the president is employing. Remember, it started with the president. It started with the president, appointing few personalities from Mount Kenya. Then we saw also the activities of Maina Njenga. Then from there, there are so many, the money bag issue came, but still the effect is not there. And if you look at Mount Kenya East, whereby the president was really begging to balance Rigathi Gachagua, and Rigathi Gachagua tend to be loved even from more than even from the West, because you saw from the songs and the reception that Rigathi Gachagua got. Where does this one put Kindiki, as I welcome my good friend Joseph Abarigani?
Habari ya brother. Jambo, mkoaje?
Tuko salama.
Hata mimi niko salama.
Eh,
Thank you for brother Marco Bura. You reminded me the show is on. Thank you so much, brother. Sorry, can you repeat your question, brother? Sorry.
Thank you so much for joining us. When you look at Mount Kenya right now, it is at stake, and you are seeing the Kindiki being as the front person on how he can bring in the support of Mount Kenya to the government side, despite the rebellion that we are seeing, or the effect of Rigathi Gachagua. The strategies that president has really employed has not worked well. Remember, it started by appointing personalities, including the CS, Kabogo, Mutai Kagwe, so many of them. And again, there was that effect of Maina Njenga. You remember, he came, then that one also vanished. And now the last strategy, which is the use of the money bag, where Kindiki is bringing us this empowerment. But yesterday or the weekend, you saw what happened in Meru, especially that is Mount Kenya East. And that the Mount Kenya East was like a place that was going to balance Rigathi Gachagua by bringing in Kindiki, but is not nothing from what happened. Where does this one put Kithure Kindiki as a person?
Yeah, my brother, thank you so much. That's a very good question you asked me right there. What we need to know, we need to start from knowing where all this started, so that we can bring it to the folding now about Kithure Kindiki. Well, what I can say, this thing started long time ago, not now. Gachagua is not the people who is not the person who made Kikuyu leave Ruto. Kikuyu had already left Ruto long time ago, before even Gachagua came to join them. Not even the Kikuyu. He had the Gema people had the mountain, as you call it, had already left Ruto even before Rigathi Gachagua came. So when Rigathi Gachagua came, he made a formidable force and started trying to unite, to seem like he's united. But already the mountain was united because they were very angry with Ruto. The mountain started sleeping off Ruto 2023 when he brought the punitive tax bill. When Rigathi is just a joiner of what Kikuyu and the Mount Kenya people had started. So he's not, he's just a beneficiary of what had started. So Kithure Kindiki is not just that he cannot be able to marshal. The problem is that people already left the train for William Ruto and they are not coming back. So even if he can be able to continue and still sing there and continue saying Noma, see Noma, there is nothing he's bringing Noma there. Already the Mount Kenya people have already left. They left in the 2023, and now it was added. It was the strength was added in 2024 when they brought the punitive tax. So there is no there is no turning back. There is nothing he can do. So Ruto, let him stop playing that ploy of West versus East. That thing cannot happen. It
So
has shown, it has backfired in his face.
okay, let me ask you again before I bring in other panelists. As you say that it happened that the Mount Kenya had already left, and maybe bringing in Kithure Kindiki. And when you saw Kithure Kindiki, he's with the president, and say that kuna watu wengine wanaona sisi ni wadogo, leo nimekuja na president, lakini kuna siku mimi nataka kukuja hapa peke yangu and ni deal na hao watu. And that was opportunity. He has the head of state and still saying that when I come the following day, I will deal with that, which means he will respond to Rigathi Gachagua. That one, the effect of Rigathi Gachagua, that was in Meru. What convinced him that by himself that he will come and maybe pull a magic on the crowd that will deal with the influence of Rigathi Gachagua?
My brother, the person who is lying to Kithure Kindiki needs to stop giving him what he's smoking. Because what he's smoking is terrible for him. We had a person called Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember Uhuru Kenyatta?
Yeah.
Uhuru Kenyatta was even blessed and given everything that a kingpin should be given. Leave this Gachagua who is taking the numbers.
Yeah.
But Uhuru, what did they do to Uhuru? They even never listened to him. So what do you think that at Kithure Kindiki can have miracles? There is no miracle he can do. I told you the moment you had that song, Kasongo by that one, that one killed him. There is not coming back from that. And even if he pours how much empowerment money in Meru, or Tharaka or even in Embu. There is no coming from that. He'll be just like Mudavadi. You remember Mudavadi? Mudavadi, even the member of parliament is not even his member of parliament is not even in the party that he is. Even the governor. That is what will happen to Kithure Kindiki. His senator, his MP, his governor, his MCA, even his MCA and his village man. You see, even the Nyumba Kumi, his Nyumba Kumi will be behind removing Ruto in 2027. I'm telling you, because me, I know the politics of the mountain how they work, and that is how they work. When you see people coming in arms and saying we did, I know, brother. I don't think you have known how Mount Kenya people are angry.
Yeah.
They're very angry with this government. It's just because you don't see them going to the streets, but don't think that Mount Kenya people they are not angry. What they do, you'll not see them in the streets so much, but what they'll do you something that you will never forget in your life come the election. There is where they demonstrate, and when they demonstrate against you, brother, you don't come back.
Okay, thank you so much. And let me invite Makobura. Makobura, there's something that we have to look at here. When you look at the political art of Kindiki, especially, is that somebody who is very cool, especially when it comes to public. He doesn't have the punchline, especially political punchline, as compared to Rigathi Gachagua. And you see that the president, or maybe, is being put on the front line, yet that punch is not there. How can he learn the politics of the day and be where he's supposed to be? Because if things goes like this, and our politics is all about the numerical power, if you cannot bring that power, that numbers in coalition, what remains is that you might not be in such a powerful position. How can navigate the influence of Rigathi Gachagua, especially being that both of them are coming from Mount Kenya?
Okay, thank you. But I wanted to say that politics is not academia environment. So these are two different things. Professor Kindiki excels in academics, but matters politics. Politics is something that people get into it, and because of different reasons. Someone can like you just because you like firing. Someone can like you in politics just because you like saying the truth. Someone can like you just because you like conversing or giving conversation which can zile zinafurahisha watu wenyu ama mali unatoka. So matters of politics, when you're not welcomed, there's nothing you can do. You can have the power, you can try to misuse it, you can use money to get into, to make people like you, but at long last it will never happen. I would just want to give you an example of what happened. For example, if you remember the Luo politics, when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was dying, the person that people thought would pick it and become the kingpin of that area was James Orengo. But remember what Raila did. It was a consistent fight between the two of them. And as much as, of course, people liked Orengo, yes, but at that particular time, Raila was liked because he was seen as a fearless person. He was seen, there are reasons why people chose him, went for him and left James Orengo. So it is a similar thing, especially matters to do with the kingpinship. A whole society. Remember, Mount Kenya region has the highest number of voters. And of course, their wants and their needs are also many. And when you tell them that we have two gentlemen, that is Professor Kindiki and Rigiji, and then you now ask someone from Mount Kenya that, of course, they have their own problems that they want the government to sort. If you ask them that now that the deputy president is in government, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, are there any positive things? How is life in the Mount Kenya region? Are they receiving infrastructural developments? is life or cost of life becoming easy or cheaper to them? They will tell you that it is worse. And that is why majority of them would then decide to shift to the other side and support Rigiji, because if Rigiji comes out, he will tell you that yes, you are telling us to follow someone who is in government, who is the deputy president, but we are still suffering as a people. So tell us, now that he's in government, is it solving the problems that you guys are facing? The answer is yes. I mean, the answer is he is not solving. So the next question that he will ask is, what then a confirmation that if we follow him, we are going to get all those goodies? The fact of the matter is, this is a different. I mean, the politics of Mount Kenya region is not going to be easy. It would have been easy if they were getting development, if they were being remembered by this government. But I can categorically tell you that the suffering that someone in Mount Kenya region is facing is the same suffering that any other person, those who do not have the deputy president, those who do not have the ministers, life, the cost of life in whichever part of the country is same. So you cannot justify to anybody in Mount Kenya that they support a government or they support Kindiki because he's in government, he's going to make their life easy. There is no any justification on that. And that, of course, gives it easy for anybody who is criticizing anybody. You know, it's always good to talk negative or to talk against a government when you're out of the government. But the moment you get inside there and you don't have the power to execute, automatically, you remember what Rigiji faced during his times. He had the power, of course, he was the deputy president. Of late, he's been telling us that, walikuwa na mambo yao. This is similar to what we saw during the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Ruto. Remember, Ruto used to say that he was just a symbolic deputy president. He did not even have the power. And he was even accusing a cabinet secretary having taken his role. So politics, I can tell you, people can love you, especially when you're outside the government. But the moment you get into government, you find that things are totally out of order. And again, if you're not in control of those powers, if you do not have the mandate to make if you do not have the power to decide that we are taking this development to this area, it would be tough. And that is why there's a good majority of people then currently associating themselves with Rigiji because they feel that they feel that the government is not sorting their issues as much as they have the DP is coming from the Mount Kenya region. They feel that the DP that they're telling them about do not even have the power to influence developments in those areas.
Okay, thank you so much, Makubura. And Meguda, let me come to you. When you listen to the deputy president calling the former deputy president, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, calling Mr. Kindiki, yes, and the coded message on how they refer to Mr. Kindiki and the manner in which Mr. Kindiki came to be a deputy president, and people say that he's unappointed. If that one takes away, does that one also takes away the authority from him, such that you cannot speak authoritatively to the people because the manner in which you came into the presidency, yet people knows very well that you should come via voting, not by being appointed. Do you think that one also takes that confidence from Kindiki, or that one also make people not to see him like you are not authentic deputy president in a manner in which you came into power?
I believe Professor Kindiki has been misplaced. He has been misplaced from the time we established Ruto's government. When he was appointed the CS for internal security, he was totally misplaced. In my view, he ought to have been the CS for foreign affairs, or there are other things he can handle, or he can be someone who can handle the internal affairs into the State House. The works for Professor Makamu who are currently doing for William Ruto. Is good to at that capacity. Even before we get into election, he was impeached as the deputy speaker of the Senate. My view, Professor Kindiki is a good legislature and is someone also who can work effectively in those roles which have to, like the CS for Foreign Affairs. But when it comes to active politics, I intend to outrule him because, first, remember they are saying a theory that Kindiki was popular to Rigiji when they were looking for the running mate to Ruto. But we never experienced that formation because we ended up with Ruto Rigadi at ballot. We never ended up with Ruto Kindiki at ballot. It was Ruto Rigadi, and that's how they swept the Mount Kenyan votes. What if we could have ended up with Ruto Kindiki? Maybe they could have not swept those votes. Maybe Rigathi Gachagua could have bought out from the team. And you know the way Rigathi Gachagua is a good mobilizer. He could have mobilized people to not to vote for William Ruto. So that is a theory part of it. They're trying to make it materialize currently, but it is not applicable because you have to understand the issue of appointed. In my view, Kindiki was made the deputy president. He was never elected. He was appointed. He was nominated by Ruto. He was made by Ruto. You are my deputy president. You are not the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Because the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya must be elected at the ballot by the people. Someone who was never elected at the ballot of the people. Who elected Kindiki? No one elected Kindiki. Kindiki was never elected. He was made the deputy president. So when he was made the deputy president, that is why he must be a yes sir person. And remember also Kindiki, even though you have talked about him being a professor, him being a principal man, but to some extent, I doubt him because not his academics. I doubt him that he can be compromised. He's not someone who is brave. He's someone who can be compromised. He's a coward. And we don't want coward leadership. And the Kikuyus have problem with him because Kikuyus believe that, and I want to agree to Joseph when I want to conclude my point that Rigathi Gachagua is a beneficiary of the wave because it was impossible for him to ride on the wave inside government. So he had to get outside, and now he's riding on that wave outside. That's why he's popular day by day. Now Kikuyus believe him because he's telling Kikuyus that when Ruto bang the table, I bang back. When he abuse me, I abuse him back. So they believe that Gachagua cannot be compromised. Gachagua is someone who can represent our demands at the table without being compromised. But Kindiki can be compromised not to represent our demands at the table. So they don't trust Kindiki. They don't believe Kindiki. They want someone who is bold enough who can ensure that, because Gachagua has also become tricky to an extent that he has persuaded the people that wamevuta watoto wetu kazi. So Kindiki wamevuta watoto wetu kazi, but Kindiki cannot speak for the people who have been fired. But Gachagua can speak outside. So Gachagua also is speaking inside. So they tend to believe him compared to Kindiki. That's why the narrative of yes sir is popular in Mount Kenya because he has reduced Kindiki to a small TP whereby he can be compromised, he can be told what to do at what time, and he has made himself to be that bold leader who cannot be compromised, who cannot betray community, and also he has represented himself to appear that he lost his seat because he was not ready to betray the community. But the people who are beneficiaries of the seat because they have betrayed the community. So he's appearing as a hero at this moment of time in Mount Kenya, unlike Kindiki. And when you want to even to do your own polling, Kindiki was never elected, so we don't know how much they could have gone with Ruto. I believe Rigathi Gachagua gave Ruto, I think, those millions of votes, unlike what Kindiki gave to Ruto. That's why I still believe that if you want to bring comparison between Kindiki and Gachagua, that is far-fetched.
Okay, thank you so much. And as you know, the tour of Meru, Rigathi Gachagua was still consolidating the Mount Kenya because, you know, in the politics, when they will be going to the table, it will also be what are you bringing on the table? And so that you can have that negotiating power. And let me come to Joseph. And this is something that we compare. If you see Rigathi Gachagua on how he relates to the crowd, the messaging and how the crowd respond back to him, it tells you this is a very organic crowd. And you compare to Kithure Kindiki, even though he comes to the crowd whereby people feel that these are transactional crowds, the crowds that are being transacted, come and be part of the conversation of today at the expenses that we are going to give you something small. So there's that Kindiki who comes with the money, but there's that Rigathi Gachagua who comes with the message. So there are two people, money and the message. So, and the message tends to work well. Can he learn from Rigathi and say that, okay, as much as is a politics, each and every person should find his niche and his group here. Let me also coil a message that can resonate with the people on the ground. Do you think Kindiki can go to that level right now?
Thank you, my brother, for that question. Kindiki can do nothing. There is nothing he can do. There is totally nothing he can do, even if he tries what. As long as he's in that Ruto government, there is nothing he can do. Even if he tries, I told you, even if he tries to bring 20 or 100 empowerments, even if he wants to bring them every day and every week, there is nothing he can do. They already, the Mount Kenya people crossed that bridge. I've told you, Gachagua found us to the other side. Even him, if he goes back to Kasongo, there is no, we are going to leave him. Nobody is not disposable. Even if he goes to the other side, he's going to be left. So it's not that we tunalenga Kindiki. Kindiki is because he's in the side that the people don't want. So that's why he has a very hard time to talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you thought that somebody like Kuria could be silenced like that. Do you think somebody like Moses Kuria could be silenced like that?
No.
And he was a strong politician from Mount Kenya. Now he has been left like a church mouse, only borrowing money from William Ruto and only praising him like a choir master. Those people, there is nowhere they can go. There is nowhere. Even Ishungo, we have so many people, and I don't know even who is Kindiki. Kindiki, what is Kindiki? Kindiki just came the other day. Kindiki was a senator the other day. Even I never knew him. I never knew him when we were voting. And Kindiki, maybe I came to know him when they started campaigning for Ruto.
Yeah.
That is when I heard Ruto was trying to elevate him to the status of coming to national politics. Kindiki was just a senator. He was just a senator. So he can say whatever he wants, but he does not have the backing. You know the difference between Kithure Kindiki and Gachagua. Gachagua is just a first-time MP, but you can see how he resonates with the ground. You know what Gachagua did? Gachagua is a very good runner. He took points from Uhuru Kenyatta and saw how Uhuru Kenyatta was playing his politics. He also took points from Moi Kibaki and saw how he was playing his politics. And he also took points and took lessons from Ruto, what he did to Uhuru. So what Ruto did to Uhuru is what Rigathi is doing. His politics is what Ruto did to Uhuru. So he for Gachagua, you can see him as people are going to call him the kingpin or what, but even if him himself goes back to Ruto, he's going to go alone. So even Ruto, if he calls him here, he always is trying to call him. There is nothing he will do. People are not angry with Kindiki. People are angry with Ruto. That is the person people are angry with, not Kindiki. People are angry with Ruto. If Kindiki today wake up and say Kasongo one time or we are coming out of Kasongo, you see the support he'll have. You saw Uhuru what they did to him the other day. Uhuru, when he went to Embu, they clapped for him even more than the president. They were even shouting for him. But when they met with Ruto, what happened? The following week, people started abusing him again. Until now, Uhuru also kept quiet. So you don't see them with the. So it's not people that don't want leadership in Kikuyu land. It's people don't want Ruto. Even Ishongwa is being beaten because he's supporting Ruto and he's talking bad words. If he starts supporting, but now you know what has happened. After you have crossed that line of you can abuse even the community because of a person.
Yeah.
Now people have already gone. They have already left. They left that station. The Sugoi station we left long time ago, so we are not coming back.
And maybe before you conclude, looking at it, the way you've said about Uhuru was one of the natives of Mount Kenya, but they still went ahead and voted for President William Ruto. What do you see, especially in the coming future? Majority of members of parliament who are holding um, uh, those positions in courtesy of the UDA, do you see majority of them jumping off the ship in the due course to join the party of Rigathi Gachagua? Because we saw that with the Jubilee. Remember how people jumped from Jubilee to UDA. Do you see the same scenario is going to happen? And if that one happens, the appointment, because like Kindiki seems to be the bridge that connects the presidency, the President William Ruto and the mountain. Where is that one going to live in terms of party politics?
Brother, in Mount Kenya, UDA will just be a shell. It will be left. You see how Jubilee was left like a shell in Mount Kenya? That is what will happen to you, to UDA. And I'm telling you, Ruto is just going to either fold the party and join ODM.
Yeah.
Or either ODM fold the party, they join UDA. Because there is no way. There is no way that is going to run on UDA.
No, the other one, that one up
and the vice is impossible. That is what you're saying. The vice is impossible.
Yeah.
So is either he folds and join ODM, because I'm telling you, the leaders who are going to be elected from Mount Kenya.
Yeah.
I know others will come from other parties. DCP might be there and other parties, but I'm sure the party that will not be there in Mount Kenya will be UDA. That one I'm very sure. So he can buy. You see, even people are very clever. They are seeing even the parties that Ruto is trying to buy. You see, even they are saying Jubilee is being bought.
Yeah,
so Mount Kenyan people, they are very clever. I don't think they fall to that, to what Ruto is doing, because he seems to have been bringing so many parties in Mount Kenya, but that one will not work. Let me tell you, UDA will remain a shell, and is either UDA to join ODM or ODM to join UDA. That is what I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you so much. As we still talk about the issue of Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua, this is something that we cannot omit not to talk about, the issue of Albert Ojwang. And I mentioned it earlier about Talam and other police officers. Actually, their case, they're being charged for murder. That is according to the DPP. And does it mean that the investigation is still going on? And where does this one leave the step down, Lagat Miguda? What can you say about that? Is that the end of everything now?
That is not the end of everything. It's just the beginning. But it's like the DPP has also joined other agencies to cover up the main complainant. Because now I don't know, I don't want to delve much into it, because it's a case that is going.
Brothers, one minute. I'll be back.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, we are being bombed.
Okay.
Yeah, we are being bombed. The war for Iran and Israel, the bombs have started coming where I am.
Okay, sorry about that. Keep safe.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to take a video and send for Mark.
Okay, all right. Hey, Miguda, you disappeared.
I was saying,
we
that's very. We wish him all the best. I was telling that I don't want to delve much into the case, because you understand this. First, is a public interest case, and also is going to be. It has been approved by the DPP. Now it's going to proceed to court, whereby they are going to charge those two suspects. But I am still worried, because it's like they are done. For them to carry the case to court, it means now the DCIO, or the IPO in that case, has concluded investigation and have given the DPP materials to represent to court as the submission, where they're going to submit those materials to court. But they're going to prosecute those two suspects. And the question is, where are others? Where's the main complainant? Because you can't proceed to court with two suspects, but there's some complainant who has not been arrested, who has not resigned, who has not been investigated, because we never saw him being investigated. We heard that IPOA tried to interrogate him, but there was no full interrogation. I still believe that there's a lot of cover up, and you don't know. Maybe these two suspects, they have been promised that because the DPP is having the case, you can just proceed to court, but you will be acquitted. You never know. Or they have been told to carry the burden of the main complainant for the case to be concluded conclusively, and they're going to be acquitted. To that extent, I can say there's a lot of cover up, and there's a lot of truth which is not being told to the people. But because it is not my case, it is the Albert Sojuang's family case, and because you understand what they have also thanked Mr. President as a family. They have also, it's like they are no longer interested to pursue justice for the deceased. So if they are no longer interested to pursue justice for their son, just like me, I lost interest to the case. So the public has lost interest for the case. Me, I'm just hoping that one day may justice prevail to the deceased, because the family has abandoned the deceased, and it's like now they have decided to cover up the entire case.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. You can continue a little bit. Let me work on something here.
Okay, thank you so much. Just as usual, my good friend Douglas Kibagong, anytime he sees me here, he keeps I don't know. Douglas Kibagong ameshinda tu akinipiga tu mawe tu kila wakati.
Why is he saying that at bed? It is like you are saying I'm against my friend Kevin.
And before that he was saying ati sijui nini, sielewi yeye hata vizuri.
Okay, all right, I'm coming.
Okay, thank you. Douglas Kibagong, I think we should you should just click the link and join. You come tell us, utuambie shida iko kati yangu mimi na wewe, shida ni nini? Kwa sababu mimi sikuelewi. Yeah, so I wanted to give my opinion on the same matter that you are giving your opinion on. Of course, I did see the DPP did give their clarification that go ahead for the charges of the OCS and the police, Mukwama, and the other guys. What I wanted to say is that I think the big fish has not been captured, and that is where the interest of the people of Kenya is. And it's so unfortunate, because that is why even the people of Kenya are having a problem with this government, because people are being sacrificed, especially the small people, small fish. They carry the burden of big fishes, and it is so unfortunate. That is not how justice should be, should be rendered, because this, of course, goes even against the rights of others. If the order came from above, let them start with the above coming down, because all these people, they only actualized what was, the orders which they were given. And so, if they did not get the orders, of course, from above, the killing would have not have happened. So I think to some extent, if the gentleman was not first arrested, if he was not taken and then they receive a call that he should be disciplined, the killing, the death of this young gentleman would not have happened. So I think to some extent we need to be truthful to our fellow human beings, and also to understand the fact that they simply executed an order, and for that reason they needed to have captured from up coming down. it is so unfortunate that we are seeing the big fish are being left, and the people of Kenya are watching, and that is part of the reasons why the young people are coming out, trying to look at what is happening, and then they are continuing with these issues or things of demonstration, because there's this feeling that there's no respect of humanity, there's no truthfulness when it comes to giving justice. Justice is given to you on matters of who you are, who you know, who you are related to, and it's contrary to the constitution that we have. The constitution is very clear that no one, even the president, is not above the law. And the most painful bit to me is that the gentlemen, the leaders carried the Bible, they carried the Quran, they carried whichever faith that they profess, and also the constitution. And they promised that they would respect the constitution. First, the biggest mandate of the political class is, of course, listening and ensuring that the lives of the people of Kenya is safe and guided. It's so unfortunate that up to this point, we are not seeing that respect of lives. We are not seeing respect of fellow humans, fellow citizens, and that justice is only given to you depending on who you know in the Republic of Kenya. It is something that we need to question. It is something that we need to continue asking, because those are part of the reforms that we are looking for as a people. Those are part of the reforms which the youth are also looking for. Gypsy is saying there's no just when the courts just fry silverfish instead of catfish. There's no justice. It is true, and I don't know. It is. I think the people of Kenya, we are still a long way in matters of uh, fighting for what really is genuine, what really is truth, because at this rate we are seeing leaders not respecting part of the constitution that they swore that they would respect. And that is my take on that same matter. Mr. Migura, I want to ask you your take on but then Morara did comment something that is quitting politics. That is quitting politics. I don't know whether you saw that. He did comment something that is quitting politics, and I did see people are speaking about it. And at the same time, I also saw quite a number of youths coming out to give their, a presser. I saw some of them at inaitwa Mafungano, whatever, in town. I also saw a letter from Multimedia University. And I also saw Gen Z's movement from Kisumu. They are all saying that they are aligned and that they are all going to come out for the planned demonstration that is on 25th. How successful is this going to be? And at the same time, you're also seeing quite a number of Gen Zs, like the KU leader has also come out to say that it is not right that people should go for all these things. What is your take? What should we expect?
We expect maximum peace, and we hope that the life is not going to be lost going forward. But we cannot deny people's right to assemble, protest, and picket. And also, we cannot deny people's right to say no to demonstration, like those comrades from KU. They are within their rights to attend, but let them not disturb those people who are attending. The way the people who are attending are not disturbing them at all, and let them also not disturb those people attending. But the multimedia, the Kisumu Gen Z, and the people who will attend the protest, We just wish them all the best. We encourage them to go to protest for their rights, because there is no timeline for demonstration. If you feel like, even you can even go tomorrow and demonstrate and protest. Even tonight, you can just protest. There are many ways of protesting. You can protest tomorrow even from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Then you go back home. And if people have decided to go demonstrate on 25th June, that is within their constitutional right, and I cannot bar them from going, and I cannot also discourage them from going. The people want to go, let them go. The people don't want to go, let them be at home, like the KU, like even me myself. I'll not go, but doesn't mean now people will not go. People who are there will go. Those who are not there will not go. So the people who are going, the people who are not going should not disturb the people who are not going. Let them enjoy their basic rights. That is what I can say. But it's good that some people have notified the police. So it means that they are working within the framework of the law, that notification. And also the police have also had some pressures that they are going to provide maximum security. And we expect them not to kill anybody. We expect also the demonstrators not to destroy any property or steal from people or goons to emerge and infiltrate peaceful demonstration. We just hope that it should be peaceful, it should remain peaceful and armed, and people should air their views the way they like. They should have placards, handkerchiefs, they have water, they should even have sport shoes, because they can start run, you understand, previously when demonstrations. And they should also put on clothes, like for women, they should put on long trouser. And also they should be very careful. They should be their neighbors' keepers, and they should also be disciplined, focused. They should not provoke the police officers. Me, I can just encourage them that anybody who want to exercise his basic right and fundamental freedom, you are at liberty to do so, because we fought for those rights and freedoms. Anywhere, wherever you are, within the jurisdiction of this country, it is not only demonstration in the assembly and picketing. There are many rights, even rights of movement. You can move if you want to move. Freedom, even the one we are doing right now, this is freedom of expression. We are expressing ourselves without any fear of consequences or contradiction. We are enjoying this fundamental freedom of expression. We enjoy those freedoms and basic rights. There are variety, even the right to privacy, the right to life, the freedom of movement, they have said, the right to associate, right to form political party, right to associate with anybody without asking anybody questions. You can associate with Wamunyoro, you can associate with William Ruto, you can associate with Raila Odinga without asking anybody permission. We enjoy them each and every day. So why is that when people want to demonstrate peacefully, now they want to limit the people? I'll just encourage the people to demonstrate far right for their right, and anybody want to exercise his basic rights and fundamental freedoms is at liberty to do so. They should do without any regret, because that is what is envisaged in the Constitution. There's nothing contrary to right to protest peacefully. That's what is there. So if case they have amended the Constitution, we will know by that time. But for now, we are going to exercise that right in accordance to the Constitution and also in accordance to the Public Order Act. Wakobura, I think I don't want to discuss about Morara, because me, I don't follow him. I've never have any interest about his political career. I don't even know what happened. So that one is up to him.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. On the same topic, the planned demonstration by the Gen Zs, I wanted to ask you this question. This is not the first time you're seeing Kenyans coming out to demand for their rights or to fight against the injustices which we've been seeing in the country. And if you remember, during the formation of Safina, the likes of Paul Mwite, the likes of course, Gitobu Imanyara those days. And I was actually following that documentary. I think it was it KTN or NTV? I didn't know that Leakey, what was his name? That gentleman was also in politics.
Richard Leakey.
Richard Leakey, yeah. They are part of the people who formed Safina. And I remember when I was watching that clip, I saw the president then, President Moi, came out and said that all foreigners are allowed to do business and everything they want to do, but they should not try and engage into politics. That brings me to this question. We are at a point where, if you try compare what used to happen and what is happening today, those who are on the forefront fighting for their rights and also talking about the injustices, there were people who were interested in politics, and there were not really many, there were very few people. Whatever we are seeing in this generation is a generation that is coming out to fight for their rights, but we are not seeing any leader. We are not seeing them having any political interest. And the question is, would you try give us the difference of what we are expecting in this Gen Z or youth-led demonstration compared to the demonstration that we've been seeing? You remember those time when the country, we were looking for multipartyism, when injustices were being fought, for example. You remember the opposition team that has always been led by Raila Amolo Odinga leading the demonstration. This time around, it is quite different. And I want you to give your opinion on how different is this and what are the whole motive. That is number one. Number two, I would also want you to give your opinion on the end game of this, because all youths, from the mobilization that we are seeing, or if you've been able to watch the demonstration which have always been carried out, we just see everybody. People who are not known, but they're all youths. And if you ask them what is uniting them or taking them to the street, they tell you the high cost of life, they tell you the issues of unemployment. How is it going to be? How is government going to come out to sort their issues? And should the government fail to sort their issues, with the youths having majority, being the majority in the country, having the energy that is required, the only thing I think that they lack is money and jobs, but they have everything, every other thing. Can you just give us your take on the end game of this and the possibilities if they are not really listened to, if their views are not listened to and not addressed by the political class? And how is this going to be a threat to the political class? Remember, whatever we are seeing now, the demonstration did not start this year. They started last year. And how is this then coming out to be a threat to the political class? Because there is a possibility of this being, there's a possibility of it going to transform and to change the 2027 view of leadership. Is it then a threat to the current political class? Your view on that, and then you can also give us your final remarks, and then we'll call it a day.
First, you have asked about what's the difference between the current demonstrations and the previous one, whereby we have the current generation and the old generation together, and what happened in the time of Moi and currently. First, you must understand that Moi worked under the repeal constitution, and under the repeal constitution, there was no basic rights and fundamental freedoms. That time we used to have detention without trials. That time, police could just shoot people, arrest you, and detain you without. By that time, you cannot be charged in a court of law. There was no produce of a criminal to court within 24 hours. So there were many rights which were not there in existence by that time. But currently, the current generation are operating post 2010 constitution, whereby there's that provisions of the basic rights and fundamental freedoms, whereby everybody enjoys those rights. And the right to peaceful assembly, and also right now, even if you have been arrested, is that producing you into court within 24 hours, unlike what used to happen. So Moi enjoy that repealed constitution because it, like, many rights were not there and fundamental freedoms. But currently, these rights are at the people, and people understand them, people enjoy them as the citizens of Kenya. That's why currently people can demonstrate anyhow, unlike before. But previously, you understand that the old people used to fight for transformation, like multi-party democracy. They used to fight so that they can have many parties. And also they fought for the 2010 constitution so that we can have these rights. But some, you understand that times have been overtaken, and also some people have died along the way. Some people have aged. Some people have joined government. Now, nature upholds no vacuum. The young people must come in and fight for what was left with the older generation, because they never fought for everything. Anything that was left must be fought by the current generation. And it's not a war, it's just a civil war, in my understanding. You have also asked me that what is the end game of this demonstration. First, I want to confirm to you that I'm not organizer. I never organize it. I don't know who organized it. I don't know who called it. I don't know. And I've confirmed to you that me personally, I fully support it and I advocate for those rights. But me, I'll not be on the street for reasons well known to me on that day. But let me tell you one thing. The end game is well known to the people. But what I understand, and I knew that it was supposed to be peaceful assembly. Actually, it was no demonstration. They were going to assemble so that they can commemorate the comrades who were killed in previous demonstration. But because it's something that is not under my control, I don't know whether it is protest, whether it is assembly, whether it is picketing. But that's nice left for the people who have called for it, because you saw I was not there briefing notification to the police officers. As for me, I insist that I'm fully supporting and advocating for the basic rights and fundamental freedoms of each and every Kenyan without any apology. That one, I'm firmly supporting them. But the end game now is well known to them. But what I know that it was supposed to be commemoration, whereby they're going to remember the comrades who passed away. Now, I think after that remembrance, people have come up with new ideas that let us protest, let us picket, let us go to the street. That is now up to the people who organize it. But I can assure you that the people are yearning for change and the people are fired up. Actually, I was doing my sampling. I found out that people are charged for demonstration, but now I cannot anticipate much. Let's wait and see how the events will unfold. And lastly, to clear my final thought, I just like to appreciate our viewers for tuning in to our show. We appreciate you. We really say thank you to everybody for this wonderful audience you have given unto us. And also we appreciate our panelists, Bro Benson, who has just left, and Joseph, who has been almost hit by the bombs where he is. We wish him all safe so that he can be safe. And we will have the information, I think, after the end of this show, we have to converse with him and we know whereabouts. And also to our people who have come to the comment section. I saw Douglas Kibogong. Hello, Douglas Kibogong, for coming in. I also saw Jepse Kona, our good friend. I was
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Miguda, for giving us your opinion. allow me to take this opportunity to also say a big thank you to our good friends at the comment section, and especially those of you who have commented. We really, really appreciate. Douglas, I don't know what you're speaking about or talking about. Douglas Kibogong. Douglas Kibogong. I don't know what their issue is. I don't know what the problem is. Douglas, does it mean that you're not aware that the population of Kenya, the majority of them are youths? I don't know whether you know that. Allow me to read some few comments here before we move on. I've learned that Nuru Okanga is not a Gen Z, just the way it took me time with Kasmuel Makaure. Kenya has great constitution, but it's difficult for the politician to implement it wisely without Okay, yeah, so I agree with you, Gypsy Corner. It is true. We have one of the best constitution in the Republic of Kenya. I mean, in Africa or even in the world. It's one of the best. It has all that is needed for a country to prosper. But it's unfortunate that the people who are in office trying to implement it are not doing it. It's that unfortunate. And those are part of the reasons why the young people are going out for demonstration, maybe hoping that with the pressure that they're giving, they might listen. The political class might listen to them. And Judith, thank you so much for also finding time to be with us. We really appreciate. I want to take this opportunity to just say a big thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you so much, Douglas Kibogong. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. Thank you so much, of course, Judith, Brenda Obedi, and everyone who engaged us today on the comment section. To those of you who are also watching, and maybe you did not comment, I want to remind you that this is Brother Benson Media. And here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us, and we'll really, really appreciate. Thank you so much, everyone. I want to take this opportunity now to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us. Yes, it is okay, Gypsy Corner. It is okay. We really appreciate. Thank you so much. It's okay. You can use that number. I think it's still showing there. It's still showing there at on the screen. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. Of course, to our viewers, we really appreciate if, just like I've said, we do have this kind of conversations almost on a daily basis. If you are watching for the first time, you can always subscribe and also like. Again, if you want to join and to give your opinion, we do share the link. You can always request for the link so that we can share with you. We give you the link, you join the studio, and also give us your take. What we're doing here is just a conversation that is all geared towards the betterment of our country. And we are not taking political sides. We're just trying to be neutral. And I wanted to let our good friend Douglas that we are not politically aligned and we are not biased in any manner. We speak truth to power. just because someone is coming from a certain region, there's no justification that they have to align to political parties which are which are dominant in their rural areas. So Douglas Kibogong, I think you've always mistaken me of being biased. I don't think I am. And if I am, you are also allowed to just single whatever I've said wrong or that shows that I'm biased so that I can change on that. I want to take this opportunity once again to say a big thank you. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. We really appreciate your support and your continuous support. Tomorrow again, of course, we'll have the show, and we are trying to work on a way of always inviting new guests, especially the ones who are elected or nominated, so that they can give us first-hand information of what truly it is or what it truly means to be in those elective positions. Once we finalize with them, we'll let you know so that you can always ask questions whenever you are available. Thank you so much, everyone, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Mungu awabariki.